Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. Welcome to the Wholesome Lifestyle Network. My name is Jamila Daura and I am your host and the convener of the Wholesome Lifestyle Network, a community for women around the world where we provide support, we provide a sense of belonging. If you'd like to be a member of this network, click on the link in the description of this video and let your journey to wholesomeness begin. So today is a continuation of the last episode, and that was the episode where I shared the first 5 things that I have learned in marriage in 10 years of marriage. So there are 10 things I would like to share, and we are done with the first 5, and this is the second 5 set of 5 questions. Set of 5 things. It's a beautiful weather today, and I hope it is on your own side. I have the window open. I'm looking over the lake that we have, and it's been raining, and I'm so happy for this rain because it's been so hot. Anyways, let us just dive in. Number 6, thing that I have learned in marriage in the last 10 years is forgiveness. I'm going to share something, and it's not something I'm really proud of, but I just want to put it out there because forgiveness was something that was so hard for me to learn in marriage. And this is because I am someone that stays in her own lane. I don't speak until being spoken to. I don't just get involved in people's businesses, until I'm invited. But when it comes to marriage, you can't live life like that. And in Hausa, there is this saying, tsakanin harshe da haƙori akan samu sabani, and that is between the tongue and the teeth, there is always going to be friction, and when you're going to start life with someone that you don't know that much, because everything you're going to know about your spouse, now to the Muslim folks and sisters and brothers, you know that most of the things you're going to know and physically observe about your spouse will not start until you eventually start living together. And there were just so many things that was weird, and I thank my dad for giving me that heads up, because he told me, like, Smalley, everything that you think you know about your husband, other good things he's letting you know, because he's trying to have you on his side or by his side and agree to marrying him. The biggest things about him you're going to discover when you start living under the same roof. And I pray that you are able to accept him for that and live with that. And was my dad right? He was 101% right. And as someone like myself that always stays in her lane, and I don't look for trouble, like I said, and don't look for my trouble, because I have a bit of an unforgiving spirit. Yeah, let that sink in. And I don't say this with pride. It is something I'm consciously working on, and not just for my own good, for the good of the people that I have in my life today, my husband, my children. We are all going to be up in each other's businesses, and I want to believe that they do whatever it is that they do, the intention is never to hurt me. And I have to learn to start forgiving, and forgiving truly. Again, Allah forgives. Who am I to not forgive? So I tell myself that life is too short to be angry, to be resentful, to be vengeful. So I try to say sorry and be actionable for that sorry that I'm saying, and not just saying sorry and let it be an empty sorry. I say sorry and I mean it, and I move on. And I also learn to accept people's sorry, most especially if they are also meaningful sorries and they learn to be actionable as well. The next thing is perseverance. There's been so many events in this last 10 years of my marriage that could have broken us. There's been interferences from people and their actions towards me, and there's been what will I say, just been curveballs that Allah threw at us. And, we both experienced things together. And subhanallah, when I think about all the things that we've been through in this short 10 years, I say Alhamdulillah. And sometimes I ask myself, how did we even survive it? I said interferences, and interferences is just a disclaimer out there. It was never interferences from either of us. It was interferences in such a way that there was some slight of poking at you, poking at one person just to be able to get at them. But I'm not even going to go into details about that. But one thing that got me through that was to persevere. Perseverance is patience in another way. It's me giving myself the power to understand that people, I'm not responsible for people and how they treat me, and I reserve the right to react or to not react, and I don't take what people do to me as a reflection of who I am, but a reflection of who they are. So I have to learn to persevere through certain things, most especially acknowledging that we are both coming from different backgrounds, different family orientations, and what is a norm in my side might not be a norm in his side, and what is a norm on his side might not just be a norm for me. And I had to learn that the hard way to an extent, and I learned to persevere. Perseverance is patience in another way, and that brings us to the the 8th point of giving and receiving. Managing expectations is the summary of giving and receiving. So I talked about how people will likely treat you, and you're definitely or most likely not responsible for their actions towards you. So you limit your expectations with people or about people. You manage your own expectations, what you can, and you also manage yourself in a way that you can give your all, or you can give a part of you. And in marriage, it is an all from both sides, and there are times where that all might not be whole, and you have to also be welcoming towards when your significant other's giving is not whole as well, and hopefully you have a part of that whole that you can suffice and make up. So managing your expectations in terms of giving and receiving is that you don't have unnecessary expectations, and you give freely, you give openly, and you love without expectation, as well as still hoping that you are treated right. I'm not saying that belittle yourself. I'm just saying that be willing to get to a middle point, halfway, meet each other halfway at all times if you can. And the 9th item I have is God first. In short, the last 2 items are my biggest things that I have learned. My husband and I are from absolutely very different backgrounds, and the foundation of our marriage in the last 10 years has been God. It has been God. It has been God. It has been God. We built this home in a very big sense of spirituality. The wealth of this home is in its spirituality. Our spiritual inclination is what informs our decisions. We decide based on what God has said, and not what I want, not what he wants, not what the children want. It is basically the rights that we have over each other. I have over him, he has over me, and the children has over us, and that has really, really solidified how we treat each other. And the last of it is patience. And I say this with a quote: Fasbir Sobran Jamila, bearing beautiful patience. We love to ask questions, we love to look for trouble, and while you're, bearing that patience, sometimes in short, we are humans, and it is okay when weaknesses creep in and you're asking God, why me? Why this? Why that? But always remember that bearing beautiful patience is highly rewarded. I'm not saying that you should be suffering and smiling. I'm not saying that when things are not right, you should not look for solutions. While you're bearing the patience, I will close this by quoting my Mr's favorite thing to say. He always says, tie your camel. You'll be like, babe, tie your camel. We believe in Allah. He is our guide. He is our provider. He is our protector. He is everything in our lives. And we always remember that we tie our camel so that Allah sees what it is that we want, and by His will, He will give it to us if it is best for us. So, my ladies, this is where I end the 10 things I have learned in marriage in the 10 years I have been married. I hope I have made a little bit of sense, and you get one or two things from this. Share and see you on the next episode. Ma salama.